I did not buy these White Claws. I would never buy these White Claws, but it is convenient to know that they're only 100 calories. I'm surprised they're 100 calories. It should be 10 calories because there's no taste.
There's a taste. It's offensive.
Yeah, it is.
Actually, not bad. I wish you had someone here to share it with me.
History Defeats Itself is a comedy podcast. Kevin, John, and Greg are not experts, historians, or even all that smart.
Welcome to History Defeats Itself, a comedy podcast that looks at events or people from the past and
Why
wonders,
did you say welcome like that?
why do we never learn from our history? Only one of us knows the topic and the other two are in the dark.
It ain't
learning
me, babe.
as we go right along with you. My name is Kevin, and as always, I am joined by the always alluring John and Greg. How are you guys? I mean, Greg's less alluring because he's blurry.
I'm doing fantastic, Kevin. Thanks for asking. Greg, how are you doing tonight?
I'm really blurry, John.
You are very blurry.
I don't need to be told I'm blurry, you motherfuckers. I got a new modem.
You're old. You're old
And
as fuck.
The people at the modem store said, hey, guess what, Greg? This modem, there's no way John and Kevin are going to complain about you being blurry. And I said, fuck, they won't.
They have modem stores?
Yeah, it's Modem City.
They took over the old circuit cities?
It's modems and mojitos.
Dude, seriously, I'm changing my last name to Mojito. That's fantastic.
Well, I'm going to change mine to Problem Alcoholic. Greg, Problem Alcoholic.
Greg White Claw, Problem Alcoholic. That'll be your full name.
It's kind of a redundant name.
It is actually.
I feel like if it's gonna be like Skeeter White Claw. Yeah, right. Right, like you can't have like you can't be like just a good old 4-letter word there. You gotta be something good.
Skeeter White Claw.
Oh, Skeeter White Claw.
That is awesome. That is awesome. The fourth generation Skeeter White Claw.
Yeah.
I honestly almost choked. I was like, I had something in my throat there, and I just about died right then. So,
Hey, John,
thanks,
where's
Kevin.
Penny?
Penny is back with my lovely partner.
Oh, I miss Penny laying on the couch
I do too.
while we were talking about.
Man, I fell asleep with her a couple times. Like she was laying me on the couch. We just fell asleep. That was like the best snuggling. That was fantastic. Woke up smelling like a dog. So
That's really fucking adorable.
That's someone that's never snuggled with a human being. Yes.
Well, I mean, I was going to say, it kind of changed my mind about my couch. So if either one of you guys come into town, we can snuggle on the couch together.
We're allowed on the couch now, but only if we snuggle?
Yes. Yeah.
That's worth it.
Hey, I'm like a 35-minute drive. It's not like I'm coming into town. I could be there soon.
Well, I mean, you're not here, are
You
you?
could have told me at 4:10, and I'd be there by now. Actually, there's probably some traffic.
Probably.
Why is Kevin looking like he's looking at a clock?
No, I
Going,
just,
"There's no way
I
that's
just,
right."
I just realized
You know
my
how traffic
window's
is right
open
now?
and the wind just picked up and it freaked me out.
He did look a little scared for a second.
He just realized he's been wasting every fucking Wednesday night for the last 3 years.
Every
He's like,
other.
Yeah. He's like, I got to go. I got to cut you guys off.
Like, this is awful.
Yeah.
All right, follow us on TikTok and Instagram. We are also now posting these episodes as video podcasts on the YouTube. So if you'd like to see our handsome faces as you laugh along, check that out. Just search History Defeats Itself there on YouTube. And
My advice is don't.
okay, that's
What?
great.
I really felt like there was going to be more.
Nope. Don't. You don't want to look at us.
Pretty simple. You don't want to look at us.
Why would you want to look at us?
Because we're good looking.
We could bring our significant others in here. and
Yeah,
that would
they're
help.
better looking.
That would help us a lot. Yeah.
Definitely help the ratings. Are there ratings in podcasts? I don't know.
You can see my ever expanding hairline.
Oh my God,
Forehead.
mine's getting worse too. That's the
Yeah.
hat. You know, just wear a
Yeah.
hat, John. It works a lot. It works really
Yeah,
well. Look what
John,
Greg and I are doing.
Look what we're doing. See? Well, John's just really dark. His room's kind of dark.
His
So
room is
that's-
dark. Yeah,
That's
My
helping him.
and soul.
and his soul is. Yeah, it's definitely dark. And don't forget to sign up for our newsletter, The Mystorian. It's very funny. I think so, anyway.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
It's pretty
Never
funny.
read it.
Never read
Better
it. Yeah, I believe you. So head to historydefeatsitself.com for that. All right. Enough housekeeping on my end. Are you guys ready for this?
Oh, yeah, buddy.
All right. My turn to lead. And I want to start with a question. And you both have to answer honestly, okay?
3 inches.
Okay.
From
Okay.
the wall.
Are either of
Just
you
the head.
are either of you guys vampires?
I don't know.
Man, this is really puts me in an awkward position because if there's any vampire hunters listening to the podcast and I answer yes, I get hunted down. No, I am not.
Okay, Greg?
Do you mean like Eastern European vampire or like a Southern, like, Bell vampire?
Any kind of vampire.
As far as I know. I mean, I can't prove otherwise. But my guess is no.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Are you, Kevin?
I am not. But since Halloween is coming up, I thought it'd be fun to talk about something a little spooky. Sound good?
Boy.
Do you have any music
Yes.
sound effects?
I'll put it in later. This is all I've got.
It's Halloween.
Okay, the weirdest part about all that is that Kevin never had to look away when he pushed whatever button he pushed. It's like he had that. Like he was sitting on it. And he just shifted his weights. Okay. That's a little spooky. That makes it seem that scares me because that means I'm gonna have to sit through a baseball game.
It's true. And that is a very boring event.
It's very nice on a nice summer day when you just get hammered.
So all the things you enjoy do involve alcohol. I just want to circle back around to that. So you could just get shit faced at home with some buddies.
That's true.
And save yourself time and money.
A lot of money.
I've enjoyed myself at a couple Dodger games.
Yeah, I have
drinking
too.
and
I
eating.
do like.
and-
I do
They're
like
fun.
going to live. Yeah, I like going to games. I don't like watching it on television, but I actually do like going to a baseball game.
I've never watched a complete baseball game on television.
Well,
I will
if
tell you
I
that-
can't go to sleep.
I will tell you that World Series games are pretty
No, they're
enjoyable.
still boring.
They're just there's an intensity about them that I think is because it's so slow. Like a championship is just such a bigger deal. It takes forever. They're like 7 hours long, but
They take so long, and
so
you get
long.
to see the fans just shitting their pants. I like that.
There's
part
like
I
15
Watching
pitching
the fans-
changes per team.
Like,
It's brutal.
I like watching like these fucking like 80-year-old dudes chewing gum. Like, oh shit, this is gonna be the last time I ever see my fucking team lose in the World Series. Holy fuck, fuck, shit, fuck. And you know, I keep thinking because we live in L.A. I keep thinking, fuck, it's actually like midnight there. Those poor fucks. Like, I would have
know.
gone home so long ago.
I think about that too. Like even when I was in Chicago and I was in Central Time Zone, like all the stuff on the East Coast, you're like, geez, it's after midnight. Like what are you people
really
doing?
late. Stop. Or like you're watching a hockey game, it's like in triple overtime.
Oh, my God, yeah.
I'm happy to watch that. But if I was in fucking Madison Square Garden watching like 3 overtimes, I'd be like, you know what? I didn't pay to see 2 hockey games in a row.
I don't need this.
I'm going
I
home.
don't need this in my life.
Somebody's gonna win. Somebody's gonna lose. I'll find out tomorrow.
Either way, I'm probably going to be in the can when it happens because that's usually how it goes, right?
Yeah. You're holding that shit so
I was just
long.
thinking of whiz, but yeah, if you're holding that shit,
yeah.
that would be, there's a lot of nachos at hockey games, you know?
Yeah, I was going to say you didn't eat enough hot dogs.
Yeah, that's true. The hot dogs would probably do it more. All right, this isn't the fucking topic. All right,
Hey, my son is at the Kings game tonight. It's opening night
nice.
in
Who
the
is?
NHL, so he went to the Kings game. Hey, Jack, if you're out there listening.
Oh, nice.
If he's out
on
there
your-
listening
on your-
while he's at the
on your
Kings
car,
game.
on your car radio to a podcast that's not live.
And you're implying this is live. I'm going to the Avalanche game tomorrow.
Ooh, that's exciting.
It is exciting. I'm the Blackhawks fan. That's why I'm going because they're playing the Blackhawks. But
That's really cool. And by the time this airs, it'll be like 13 days ago. So Kevin, I
not
want you to
that
give us
many.
both.
It'll be like 6 days
I want you to give us both reactions to like how that game
to
went.
being happy or sad. I mean, the
Yeah.
Blackhawks are going to be bad, and we're going to watch the Avalanche raise the banner. So you know what? We're not. This is so boring. Okay, tonight, gentlemen. We're going to
Yeah,
go
I
back
think
in
that's
time
kinda
a little bit. We're going to bounce around, but we're going to start in 1990. All right?
Ooh, it's like Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, kind of, except not. Do you guys remember 1990?
It was a couple of years before Interview with the Vampire came out.
Ooh.
Oh,
good point.
how do you know that?
It came out in 1994.
Okay.
It was
I
it was
don't know.
6 years after Van Halen's 1984 album came out.
That math actually checks out. John's
Yep.
was a little spotty. All right,
it was probably about 8.5 years before people started worrying about Y2K.
Okay.
I feel like we had about an hour and a half or a year and a half lead time on that one.
So that year, 1990,
I think I was in probably my best hair days in 1990.
well, it couldn't have been worse.
Yeah.
Okay.
He did actually. He had pretty good hair when he was a younger man.
Yeah, I saw. He showed me some pictures. I mean, that sounded weird, but I saw some pictures. That sounded weirder. I don't know. I've seen pictures of Greg when he was
my
young.
hair heyday. You're right about all those things.
When I met him 16 years ago, he was already an old man, so
Yeah.
he didn't have good hair then. But yes, he had a picture on his desk of him and his lovely wife.
It would have been great if he had a picture on his desk of just him. Just so he could remember that lovely flow he had.
I
he was
have thought about
17.
cropping Jen out. Yeah.
All right. So that year, 1990, in Griswold, Connecticut, some
It's
kids
not a real place.
Some kids were playing near a gravel mine and they found a grave. One of the kids ran home to tell their mom, who was understandably skeptical. Then he showed her a human skull.
As moms would be.
She was less skeptical after she saw the skull.
Did she drink from it?
She did it. You know what? It wasn't specific to the article I read.
Would it be funny if she's like, "There's no way this is a human skull," and she fucking poured some Sunny D in there?
No,
and
mojito.
Or she-
She
yeah,
did
she-
it.
Oh yeah, she
made
had
a
to plug the
mojito.
eye holes. She had to plug the eye holes and the nose hole. Never mind.
Well, it was a place called Griswold, so they probably had White Claws.
Yeah,
not mojitos.
that's true.
Yeah.
Like
I'm gonna
Clark-
put 3 mojitos in this skull, and then we'll know if it's human or not.
Wait, what state was it again?
Connecticut, Griswold, Connecticut.
Okay, those are pretty hoity-toity people, potentially.
I doubt
I don't
it.
know. in
You'll-
Griswold?
keep
That just
listening.
sounds like-
So the authorities came in and made the area a crime scene because they thought that this could be the work of a local serial killer, Michael Ross, who murdered 8 girls and women between 1981 and 1984. But as it turned out, the bones were over 100 years old. The kids had discovered a colonial era cemetery.
What?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
wonder
that's a
if
crazy story, huh?
I wonder
Like if you're a kid.
Is this over?
No, yeah. Did you guys have any questions?
Yeah.
so many.
So
What does colonial mean?
You're like case solved.
case solved. Look at us.
Yeah, that's
We're regular web sleuths here.
next join us next time when Greg tells you what temperature it is.
And John tells you who killed Kennedy. But it'll take the same amount of time. All right, so most of the graves at the cemetery were normal for the time, rickety wooden boxes, and the bones indicated the people were buried intact and with their arms at their sides or crossed on their chest. But one grave was different. The coffin was painted red and showed signs of being smashed. And inside, the bones had been rearranged. The skeleton had been beheaded, and the bones were arranged to look like that classic Jolly Roger skull and crossbones symbol.
Oh, I thought maybe someone didn't know that song. Like your
So
knee
knee
bone's
bone
connected to
is
you.
connected to the... What would that have to do with anything?
I don't
they're
know.
trying to put it all the body all together.
Yeah,
Why were they trying to put the body together?
because they took it apart, obviously.
It was because it was 100 years ago, and the guy fell off a cliff and then exploded on a rock.
That makes sense. They wanted the body to be in good shape, but
Yeah.
so Jesus could take it away to
Yeah.
heaven.
So
That actually checks out.
they did the best they could do.
Back then, they didn't have the internet and YouTube videos on how to rearrange bones. I installed a faucet in my kitchen like a week ago, and man, I was trying to read the instructions, and I'm like, this does not make fucking sense. And then I realized I was reading it in French. And then I tried to read it in English, and it still didn't make sense. So I went to YouTube, found my exact faucet, and watched a video of a guy that's like 80 years old take 35 minutes to do a 5-minute job, but I got it done.
Nice.
I don't think we
I
need
do
to
like
know
watching
anything.
the YouTube videos when you get the old dudes because they don't want to be there. It's like their kid or someone is making them show the world how to do this. No, trust me, Dad, this is great. And they're just like, so you just take this and you just do this. You know, they're really angry about it. But
And
I like
they get
that.
all frustrated because they're holding their phone, and they've got to hold their phone while they have to use both hands. So
Yeah.
fucking turn something, and they're like, God, fuck, shit.
Listen, you know what? Don't fucking make a video when you're trying to do this.
Why am I making this video anyway?
All right, so it was also determined that the beheading in this of this person and the bone fractures happened 5 years after the person's death.
So no crime.
And
I mean,
on the
don't get hurt.
coffin, spelled out in brass tacks, were the initials JB.
Oh,
John.
shit.
So I will ask you again, John, are you a vampire?
Yes.
All right. Well, he's dead.
Yeah.
There's a lot of vampires hunters that
Wait.
listen to this show.
Wait, was the guy wearing cargo shorts?
And a novelty T-shirt.
Yeah, because if he was, it was John. Did his skull have a huge gray beard? And an inverted nipple?
Okay.
Sorry, John.
I was
too
wearing
much.
I was wearing a "Don't Tread on Me" T-shirt.
Because that was ironic at the time, you know.
Back then, it didn't mean what it means
It
today.
doesn't mean what it meant today. So the reason that this was of interest to them was because of something that occurred in nearby Jewett City, Connecticut in 1854. People were getting sick and dying horrible deaths. Sufferers of the disease wasted away, their skin turning gray, and their eyes becoming sunken. Sometimes blood would trickle from the edges of their mouths. It often spread among families and neighbors.
You sure they didn't just floss? They didn't forget to floss their teeth?
It didn't seem like that. Doctors believed they had found the cause, tuberculosis, or consumption, as they called it in the day.
You know how you treat that? Opium.
Okay.
That's how they treated everything. It's like, oh, you have consumption. You should drink this opium.
So we started with heroin. Now you're on to opium.
Wait, you can drink opium?
Didn't they? It was like those little elixirs. They always had opium in them.
Oh, that's cool.
I thought they just smoked it in those dens with, the
Well, they did that
scantily
too, but
clad
no,
women.
or yeah, they did. Well, back then, scantily clad was like wearing something from your neck down.
Yeah.
You could see your head and maybe your feet, and that was like, whoa.
Still no skin, but yeah, it was alluring for the time.
That lady's wearing a loose neck dress.
But the
I'm
town,
gonna go jerk off, but later we kill her.
But the townspeople knew better than to trust those crackpot doctors. After all, they weren't able to help anyone with this disease, so what did they know? Plus, the doctors were blaming the disease on drunkenness and want among the poor.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Let me check my bank account.
What is want? I'm not clear on what that is.
Desire?
Still not getting it.
When you crave something?
Like,
So let me put it into perspective for you, John. You know when you're driving home and you pass a Del Taco, and
Okay.
you look at the pictures in the window,
yep,
you want that.
right.
That's want.
And then I get an erection. I get a Taco Del erection.
Yeah, and then you
Yeah.
have to
Taco Del? It's a
Taco Del.
Taco.
You know what? That's how erect he is. He can't even say it right. And you have to go through the drive-through because you just can't go inside with that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Want means one's customary behavior in a particular situation. I'm going to use it in a sentence.
I mean,
Constance,
they're talking
as
about sex,
was her
right?
wont, had paid her little attention. Yeah, I don't like this.
You don't like that definition?
I think it's sex. Pretty sure it's sex.
It's sex. Yeah.
Yep. All right.
So some possible cures that they had for this disease was drinking brown sugar dissolved in water and frequent horseback riding. That was for
kind
the
of like
doctors' potential cures for consumption. I thought maybe Greg might look into that for his AFib.
So kind of like a tampon.
Kind of like a tampon, yeah.
Riding
So I feel like
horses.
it'd be like
and-
Kev. Nope. Sorry. Please go on.
It's fine.
Oh, no.
You were going to talk about my AFib, Kevin.
No, I wasn't
Go
going to
for
talk
it,
about
bud.
AFib. No. I was
Oh,
gonna
I
say,
see,
like-
John. Kevin was.
That's all I said. I just said keep it in mind. Maybe it's
So I just-
a help. Maybe it'll help.
So I feel like doctors in this time period are like, so Kevin, you have cancer. Bad news. Good news. We just got 3 new horses.
We got to use them for something.
Yeah, we're gonna kill them and eat them soon, so you may as well start riding them while you can.
Yeah. One of them is going to cure your cancer.
So the townspeople came up with their own, more logical conclusion. The dead were becoming vampires, rising from their graves at night to feast on family members, slowly sapping their vitality. And this is how they decided they were going to stop these vampires. They exhume the corpse, they burn the heart, and they break up the bones to make it so they can no longer move freely. Seems logical.
That'll do it.
You'd hope so.
Airtight.
You could just come up with any crazy fucking idea you want to. And there's a lot of freedom in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just
I'm just saying there's no rules. It's like before
You mean
OSHA.
back then?
Yeah, back
Yeah.
then. Not
Yeah,
right
you
now.
probably have a hard time getting that by people today.
Yeah.
Would
it's
you
not-
I just feel like the last 5 years have really taught me like people will latch on to like people can go out of their minds about stuff.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
QAnon. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
I guess we're not that far removed from it, right?
Right. So it's just like if you can believe that the Earth is flat, why not the dead rise?
Yeah, but this is more than 5 years ago, I think.
No, this was 100 years ago.
This is what I'm saying. So
No, this
people
was
have been
this
stupid
was
for a long time.
This was a while ago. This was in 1854.
Oh,
So 105 years ago, right?
Yeah, that checks out.
that's good. You got it.
Okay, so let's move on to 1882. Exeter, Rhode Island. The current population of Exeter, Rhode Island is 6,561. So it's a very small town now. Its population in 1882 was a mere 961. The Civil War had taken a lot of lives of the townspeople, and of course, vampires were also killing people. But just to put it into perspective, this is a small rural town in Rhode Island. Yes?
Yes.
Got
in
it.
1882.
In 1882. The Brown family lived on a farm, and sadly, consumption ravaged this family. George Brown was the father. His wife, Mary, died in 1883, as did his 20-year-old daughter, Mary Olive. Years later, his son, Edwin, began his own long battle with consumption. He was losing weight rapidly, struggled to breathe, continually coughing up blood. Sounds like a very lovely illness. He in 1892 he traveled to Colorado Springs because there was a rumor that the air and the mineral waters provided a cure to this. So he traveled all the way to Colorado Springs. It took over 18 months for him to do that round trip. It's kind of crazy to think about that, isn't it? Like just to go from Connecticut to Colorado, I mean, was like, I don't know. You might not make it back. And consumption might not be your biggest problem.
Well, if you're riding a horse that whole way, shouldn't you be cured by the time you get there?
Clearly the doctors were wrong, John. Clearly the doctors were wrong.
I'm so confused. Are
I
we
mean,
not trying to get people to use horses as medicine?
And isn't there a good chance that horse is going to die? How long do horses live?
Longer than 18 months, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, you could have had that one horse that's like on his way out, and you don't even know.
Well,
it.
you probably don't take that horse on an 18-month trip.
It's true.
But maybe you don't even know.
That it's going to take 18 months?
Maybe you don't know how old your horse is.
Okay, yeah, I guess that's true. I don't know how old my dogs are.
If you get it from the pound,
Yeah,
you're just
yeah.
gonna guess anyway.
Yeah. I mean, if they
There's a
were
lot of things wrong.
rescue horses, they don't know, you know.
It just goes to show you how like human beings love to bitch. Like now, if I were to go to Colorado and it took me like an extra 18 minutes, I'm gonna get mad because we're like stuck on the tarmac.
Yep.
But it would take a 18-month round trip to go. It's just
I feel like you could walk.
Perspective is important.
I could walk from here to Colorado Springs in less than
18
months. No, in way less than 18 months.
yeah. But he listen. That was a round trip, and he had consumption.
And he stayed in Colorado Springs for a bit, you know, soaking up the air and the water.
That's right. That's what he went there for. It's not like he's just gonna make a U-turn.
All right.
He's gonna take advantage of some of that cannabis.
That's why he really went, because they were the first to legalize weed.
Yeah. It's like, hey, I'm gonna go smoke a bowl. His mother's like, no, you're not. Watch
Man,
me. I'll be
I bet
back in 18
I bet
months.
weed would have helped consumption, at least the symptoms, right?
Weed helps everything.
I agree.
This message brought to you by the American Weed Factory.
Farmers of
The
America.
American Weed Foundation. You guys ever had Oktoberfest from Left Hand? Very good.
I've been to Left Hand.
I know you
I
have.
wasn't there.
Yeah,
I have a Left Hand hat.
that's very adorable.
Is that in Colorado?
It is in my hometown, yes.
Oh. All right.
All right, moving on.
Of Colorado Springs.
Yes, we're in Colorado Springs. Yes, we're in Colorado Springs. Okay, so the air and the water surprisingly did nothing to help, so he returned home.
So let's see.
He had to
him-
feel really terrible, right?
Wasn't easy to get there.
Yeah, 18 months. I mean, this guy lived with this disease for a long time. I mean, it just awful. So anyway, George's 19-year-old daughter, Mercy, was battling the disease for about a year. She finally succumbed January 19th, 1892. As I said earlier, there was still little understood about TB, about tuberculosis. The small town of Exeter, was not exactly a hotbed of medical technology, so they were definitely behind, and they could not explain at all why George's family members were dying. I keep coughing. I think I have consumption. I'll let you guys know if I cough up blood.
Well, I know how you can spend the next 18 months.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll take that long for me. I mean, it's like a 2-hour drive tops. All right. So the medical science failing the townspeople. So with medical science failing, the townspeople decided there was only one reason for these deaths. Any guesses?
Witchcraft.
Kind of.
Werewolves?
Vampires.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Vampires. The town's residents believed that George's wife and daughters were undead, caught between heaven and hell and slowly sucking the life out of Edwin at night. They convinced themselves that the only cure would be to exhume the bodies.
So these people come up with obviously the most obvious choice, like of what could be wrong.
I mean,
It never could it be a disease. It has to be undead. They got to go to the most extreme paranoid thinking.
it's funny because as I was doing this research, I was trying to you can't put your head into the, or you can't think what it would be like to be in 1892. You just can't. It's hard to wrap your head around that. But
Apparently, you have to be just really stupid.
well, I mean, there's you could say that. That's easy to say, and we all feel that way, which is why we're talking about this because it's funny. But at the same time, like if you're from a town that has 960 people in it, in the middle of nowhere, and people are just dropping dead, I don't know. Like maybe I could be convinced. Maybe someone was like, if John came up and he's like, dude, vampires, I'd be like, really? Okay. I could see that.
No way.
Really? Vampires?
Yeah.
Fuck me.
Yeah.
Blood
Well, I guess
sucking.
that's true. Your knowledge base is pretty narrow, so you got to go to something kind of
Yeah. I mean, like what do you...
supernatural.
What else?
The only
I
thing
mean-
you've ever learned is the Bible, probably, and that's in there somewhere. I'm sure.
and that's a lot of... I mean, isn't that part of vampires? They're the evil and the good. You use a cross, right? You use a cross to fend off a vampire. So I guess you can kind of get there, I guess is what I'm saying. It takes a bit. It takes about 18 months, but you can kind of get there.
How do the
Yeah.
are there silver bullets involved too?
Those are werewolves.
Yeah, those are werewolves.
Oh, fuck. Well, what do I know?
Well, so then, would you also believe like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein? You know what I mean? Like, in other words,
Well,
because
to be clear, this was before Dracula came out, and interestingly, I have this in my notes later, but I'll say it now. There's a theory that Bram Stoker actually based Dracula on the stories he read about all this. Like that's where he got the idea to make Dracula, to write Dracula, to make Dracula. Yeah, to make that fine film, to write Dracula.
No, to actually create a vampire. That's what Bram Stoker
Yeah, he
actually
built
created
it,
the
yeah.
undead. Yeah.
But So yeah, I mean, so I don't know. I feel like I get what you're saying, John, and you'd like to think that we'd all like to think that we would be the ones like, this is crazy. What are you guys? You guys are fucking out of your minds.
But then they think we're witches.
That's true. You got to be careful. Got to be careful what you admit to. Like John not wanting to admit he was a vampire. You know, you just don't know who's listening.
You don't know. Well, we'll know when I die. With a stake through my heart.
Then we will definitely know.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't die. That's how
I would be so freaked out if someone put a stake through my heart and I didn't die. Right? Like,
well, at least you know you weren't a vampire. You're clearly something else.
Yeah. I had a lot of pain. I'm in a lot of pain.
I'm for sure the one that's going to be putting the stake through your heart, so I'm going to freak out too.
I'm just going to be throwing garlic at him.
The power of Christ compels you.
While I throw garlic, I have to say that?
Yeah. Isn't that from The Exorcist?
Yeah, but I think it was.
Yeah.
I don't think it was. I think it was holy water, not garlic.
Oh, whatever.
Dude, everybody's a movie critic.
Okay. Sorry.
Just go on with your podcast.
Do this stupid fucking episode already. All right, so George was reluctant to dig up the bodies of his dead family. He didn't believe in the vampire theory, and he just wasn't crazy about the thought of his, digging up his dead wife's remains. Imagine that. They wore him down, and eventually he gave them his blessing, but he did not want to be there for it. He only allowed it to appease them because they were giving him shit. So, on March 17th, 1892, a group of residents of Exeter went to the cemetery behind the town's Baptist church. They dug up Mary and Mary Olive Brown's bodies, but since they had died almost 10 years ago, all they found were bones.
That proves it.
And a beard. And a big, long, gray beard.
With a "Don't Tread on Me" t-shirt, if we're going to...
And an inverted nipple, apparently. I'm not sure how that didn't decompose, but... So they moved on to Mercy's grave. She died 8 weeks earlier. Her body was found laying on its side, and her face appeared flush, and there was blood in her heart and in her veins. Now, Dr. Harold Metcalf, who George had asked to be there when the body was exhumed, tried to explain to the crowd...
Here comes a real brainer.
I mean, he tried to explain to the crowd that this was normal for a body 8 weeks after death. But the townspeople ignored him. They felt that Mercy was clearly the undead because she still had blood in her heart. So they built a bonfire. Go ahead.
And she wasn't like moving or going after them. She was just chilling in her grave.
Here's
so
the thing, though.
She was a huge threat.
What she was doing, though, was that at night when no one was around, she would come out of the coffin. She would come out of the ground and go and suck the life out of her family members. So these people...
Yeah.
Open the box, dig a hole, come out of the hole, suck the life, go back in the hole, and then pack it in and make it look like it had never been dug out.
And?
I don't understand what the problem is.
No, I'm asking. I just want to get clarity.
Yeah, you're clear.
Yeah, okay.
You're clear.
Okay.
You got it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I totally would have believed that back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might have. That's what I was talking about earlier. You can't just assume you would have been the smart one, John.
No, I can't. From this point in time, looking back, I can certainly look at it with a very great and wonderful arrogance. Who am I going to offend? They're dead. They've been dead for like 150 years.
So what you're trying to tell me is they didn't have a backhoe.
Yeah.
Those fucking idiots.
That would have helped.
Why didn't they just use like radar? They could have or sonar, whatever they used so they can look into the ground now. Like
I would imagine that they didn't, because of the lack of the backhoe. They probably didn't bury these bodies too deep, so it probably didn't take that long to exhume them.
Well, you still have to. I think even then they buried bodies 6 feet deep, so animals wouldn't get to them.
Ah, okay.
Dig them up.
So it took some digging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you had grave diggers. That was a job back then.
No, I know. Now they use backhoes.
I still call grave diggers.
All right.
God, I'm learning so much.
So they built a bonfire. They cut out Mercy Brown's heart and lungs, and they cremated them on a pyre.
Didn't anyone think this is disgusting?
I don't know.
I don't want to do this anymore. Whose idea was this? You do it.
Seriously.
I don't even have latex gloves. They haven't been invented yet.
I wonder, they weren't specific in this, but I wonder if they did this at night. It feels like they should have done this at night because that's what the movies would tell you. They're all carrying like torches and shit,
be funny if they were all carrying torches and it was the middle of the day.
Well, I get that. But doesn't it seem? I mean, if they did it at night, it feels like it should have been during the day because. Well, I guess maybe the vampire rules hadn't been invented yet, right?
Does anyone get spooked out? Like, why would you want to do it at night? You're already doing something disgusting.
I don't know. They always do it at night in the movies. Why do they never go after these guys in the day?
Also, like, that's apparently when this person was coming out to suck the blood.
Yeah, wouldn't you be afraid?
Why,
Yeah.
Why do it? Obviously, they're sleeping during the day.
I'm saying I don't know that they did it if they did it at night or during the
But
day.
if you do
but
it
the
at night,
movies
you
always do it at night.
You wait for them to come out, and then you just tackle them, and then you don't have to dig them up.
You're going to tackle the vampire.
Well, yes.
Okay.
Because they're weak. They're going to feed, so they're going to be super weak.
They'd be
when
really,
you tackle
really hungry.
them when they're
What
coming
if you
out.
catch him on the way back?
Yeah.
Because he took a nap
Yeah.
while you were on Vampire Watch.
It's like after Thanksgiving, he's like, oh God, I'm so tired. I just want to watch some football and pass out.
And he's like telling her, there's a chemical in human blood that makes you really tired.
Trip us something. Trip us something.
Tryptophan. Too much tryptophan in that type A blood. Oh shit, I'm getting tackled.
Oh shit, I'm getting tackled. Oh, I'm gonna kill this motherfucker too.
Are they ripping out my heart? Oh my God, what are they doing?
What is this?
That's gross.
Is that a pyre?
Am I gonna? Is that where my heart's going?
You
Hey, guys,
have
that's gonna kill me.
You guys have nothing else to do. Like zero.
Can I
There's
not
no way
just
to
rise
spend-
from the
yeah.
dead and suck the life out of my living family members like a normal undead person?
God, I can't wait till Roblox comes out and you guys are fucking distracted.
All right, so they took the ashes from the heart and the lungs. They mixed them with water and went to the Brown's house to have Edwin drink what remained of his dead sister's heart.
See, this is now they're just taking it too far at this point.
Now we're too far.
Who came up with this rule book?
I don't know. There was a lot of thought that went into it, Greg.
And why are people agreeing? Like, if somebody
I
says,
get it. I do. Because if you're drinking the ashes, then you're getting your life back, and that'll heal you. Yeah.
Since
Yeah,
when
yeah.
does drinking ashes help anything?
Since when are there vampires? I'm just following their logic, Greg.
Okay.
I'm
I
getting
mean, at least
inside
put it
the
on
head.
put it in a smoothie.
I mean, they mixed it with water.
He's like, can you add some berries with like little?
Oh, I forgot to
blueberries?"
mention that they put cinnamon and nutmeg in it too.
Oh, it's some chia seeds. Like that extra pop.
Get a little, make this thing healthy. So,
And they had
they're all-
one
they're all
white
carried-
claw
they're all-
buried in the pasture for 10 years.
They're carrying their like yoga mats. And, like, they're ready for a real good time.
here, just throw that mixture in my Yeti.
It's gonna stay cold all day.
It's gonna be. I can drink this slow.
Did you really spend $500 on a cooler for that thing?
So can you imagine like sitting there at home and there's a knock on the door and you open it up and there's an angry mob and they're just like, here, drink this. It's the ashes from your sister's heart.
And lungs.
And you're like, no, I'll do that. And he did.
Oh God.
And then he died 2 months later from consumption. So it did not work. Spoiler alert. Did not work.
From some sort of bacteria that develops in dead people's hearts and lungs.
Yeah, right. Cured his consumption. I got him infected with something else.
How about just from drinking ashes? That seems like a bad idea.
Yeah,
Wouldn't it make you throw up? Because they make you drink charcoal to throw up.
that's true. It's true. I don't know.
Yeah.
If he threw it up, I'll bet you anything that mob would have made him eat the vomit. Right?
Yeah.
They made you drink charcoal. Like, I've never drank charcoal or eaten charcoal. What?
When, if you go to
If
the
you're poisoned,
hospital,
it's supposed to bond to like some chemicals and flush itself out. I've heard that, but
no, you
I mean,
throw up.
who's making you do that?
You
The
eat
doctor.
charcoal. You eat charcoal all the time. When you
That's
grill
true.
over charcoal, you're eating charcoal.
Yeah.
Well, not with a knife and fork.
Yeah, I know. So George Brown apparently was not prone to TB. He lived until 1922. His entire family died of this disease, and he somehow lived. That's kind of
Congratulations.
it's kind
Maybe
of
he's a vampire?
depressing.
He actually was a vampire, so he wasn't affected by it.
He was the one actually killing everybody,
Yeah.
draining their life.
Yeah.
So
I'm
that's
surprised they didn't kill him for that.
That's
right?
the story of Mercy Brown and the Brown family, guys, and the vampires. So what we don't learn, right? So I know this was a long time ago in a very rural community.
Community.
Community But this was 2 years after the Salem witch trials. And in this town of Exeter in 1799, the townspeople exhumed the body of Sarah Tillinghast, suspecting her of being a vampire. They tried the whole burning the heart, drinking the ashes thing, and of course it didn't work then either. Author Diana Ross McCain reports there were 18 documented instances of the exhumation of family members in suspected vampire cases throughout New England in the 18th and 19th century. So they probably should have known this wasn't going to work. So Mercy Brown, this digging up was the last known instance of someone digging up a body to re-kill it. I don't know what you call it.
I think at this point, they just wanted to kind of keep up with Salem. They realized, hey, we can't do that witch thing because they already got that
They
covered.
definitely can't do the witch thing.
It's probably frowned upon, so we're going to come up with something else. Just a good old-fashioned reason to fuck with people.
You know what's interesting, too, is that they didn't... Nothing that I saw... I didn't deep dive it, but, they didn't talk about how they came up with this idea of the whole vampire thing in the first place. I mean, I don't know. Do you guys know? Like, how far does that go back? Vampire lore.
Well, as far as like people like reanimating after they die.
Yeah, I guess that's a vampire in itself, right?
I think that goes back to Europe before people started. I think that came to America, that belief.
On the Mayflower?
Yeah, with smallpox.
Yeah.
Smallpox and the belief in vampires.
Pilgrims did not bring us good shit. Disease and weird-ass beliefs.
Yeah.
So we can thank the Pilgrims for Marjorie Taylor Greene.
What's the difference between a vampire and zombie?
Zombies.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, zombies, they move very slow and they eat brains, right?
Right. And they have no agency. Like they're very id.
No agency.
We're
John, if you were in the
vampires.
same room as me, I'd fucking punch you in the face.
There's no ruling like body at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Where vampires are very smart and they continue to learn. They continue to be like human and have a lot of the characteristics of a human. They just eat blood. So, or drink blood. Don't eat it. They drink it.
They might eat it. Blood popsicle.
It's true.
On a
Blood
hot
sausage.
summer day.
Summer night, Greg. They can't come out during the day.
Oh, yeah.
It's like one of those hot, humid
Well, they could
Houston nights.
That sounds miserable. I don't think a blood popsicle would be refreshing at all.
Well,
Houston
you're not a
nights.
vampire.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
to John, they're very refreshing.
Oh, the best thing in the world.
I thought you were going to say something cool, like
sure.
the inside of the coffin had like these fingernail marks on the inside of, and they tried to claw their way out.
Do you want me to start over? I could tell it with some more flair.
Okay.
We do like flair.
We do like flair. All right, gentlemen. Well, that's last call. That's our vampire episode.
Cheers.
So a cheers to the people that turn their nose toward conventional medical diagnoses and think out of the box. Or in this case, out of the coffin. Cheers. Happy Halloween.
Good dink.
Thank you, everybody, for listening /watching. And have a happy Halloween, and we'll see you next time.